Right. So, good morning. Good morning. Right. So, good. I've got this for you. Right. So, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I've come up with this. Let me start with a simple question. If you report a fire and the fire brigade responds by saying, "We believe this is actually a disagreement about temperature," are you safer or are you just being managed? Welcome to the modern safeguarding, where the flames aren't always put out, but they are always very carefully reworded. I'm talking about family courts. I'm talking about social services. I'm talking about CAFCAS, the holy trinity of we're here to help. And please stop making this complicated. Here's the pattern. Someone raises a safeguarding concern, not a complaint, not drama, a concern. Something feels off. Something looks wrong. Something doesn't add up. And instead of the system leaning in, it leans back, because leaning in means paperwork, accountability, possibly admitting someone messed up along the way. And nobody ever woke up excited to write, "Yes, we overlooked potential harm." It's not a great career move. So something very efficient happens. The concern is translated. Not investigated at all, translated. Safeguarding concerns become high conflict. Risk becomes communication issues. A parent raising alarm becomes difficult. And just like that, we've gone from the child safe to those two adults need to learn how to email each other properly, because let's be honest, conflict is administratively convenient. You can manage conflict. You can schedule it. You can write reports about it. But risk is messy. Risk demands decisions. Risk creates accountability. So what does the system prefer? The thing it can solve, obviously, or the thing it might be blamed for missing. Now, to be fair, not every safeguarding concern is a pure and noble. Some are exaggerated, some are emotional, some are tactical. And yes, people lie, people manipulate, people weaponize language because the system is set up that way. The system's set up to allow you to manipulate it, so people who are silly and greedy or nasty will try and manipulate it. But here's the problem. When you build a system that's very good at spotting manipulation, it can become very good at dismissing the truth. It's like becoming such an expert at fake money. You start throwing real cash just to be consistent. You start throwing away real cash just to be consistent. In family court, this plays out beautifully. One parent raises concern. Normally, the bloke or the mum raises concern. It's all listened to. The bloke or whoever the non-resident parent is. Normally, it's the bloke, but it can be the mum too. Say for politically correct reasons, the non-resident parent, raises concern, something serious, something specific. And within about 10 minutes, it's no longer about the concern, it's about the tone. It's about attitude. And it's about whether they seem reasonable. Because God forbid if you sound upset while describing something that's upsetting. No. So what we are really looking for is a calm, measured trauma. Ideally delivered like a TED talk. So you've just found out something's really bad, you've got really big concerns about your child, and you need to be as calm as a cucumber, because that's normal, isn't it? And then reports get written. Beautiful reports. Balanced, structured, calm. So calm, in fact, you'd never know anything serious was ever raised in the first place. Because by the time it reaches paper, the concern has been domesticated. That is the quick trick of the system. It doesn't always ignore problems, it redefines them until they no longer require courage. And in that process, something very subtle happens. The person who raised the concern becomes the source of instability. Not the situation, not the risk, the person. Congratulations, you tried to report a problem and accidentally became one. So we need to ask ourselves a better question. Not do safeguarding systems fail? Of course they do. So how do they fail without ever appearing to? That's the real question, because if you can take risk and rename it as conflict, which is happening consistently, it's a pattern I've spotted, that's what they do, and then manage it like conflict, you never actually have to confront the risk at all. And that is the genius of it. No scandal, no admission, no failure, just a quiet, well-documented story about two adults two difficult adults who couldn't get along. And that's the narrative. And that's what they fit. And that's what they make sure that it sticks. Even, and they make sure you both are at war with each other as well. And somewhere underneath all that paperwork, the original concern is still there. The still safeguarding concern is still live, just much less inconvenient. That is the reality. Schools are doing it. It's institutional. Social services do it. CAFCAS do it. It's easier to blame conflict than what it is to say there's actually an actual real problem. And then the kids who have got the problems are still getting the problems. Look, the amount of people, I'll say my ex-wife, she's still angry at me. She needs help. The amount of people that come out of family court and don't get help, that impacts the child. That impacts the child's relationship with the dad. That's child focused, but they don't. You come out of criminal court, you get probation, you get all this support. Come out of family court, you get nothing. And that's part of the problem, I suppose. But still, there's the pattern. There's the pattern. So there's solutions, and watch out for some more videos because I've got solutions. I've figured out the solutions, and I'll report back when I know the solutions actually work fully. I've got some tests in place.